Obviously, I voted for Reagan.
All right, well, he was a speechwriter for Mondale. I have no problem with Krauthammer. I'm all for him, but
okay, so
but
there's
so
a
what?
opinion in terms of a strategy, but I'm not, Mark, I'm not questioning whether you're conservative enough because you don't agree with, a different strategy.
I asked you what your strategy is.
I'm still asking, how does this particular strategy at this point in time result in defunding? And that's the question.
I don't know. You guys surrendered.
I haven't seen how do you get 5 Democrat senators to vote for it? To me,
Senator, hold on now.
What it requires is a unified message where we're really concentrating on talking about how harmful Obamacare is to convince the Democrats to do it.
You need a unified message when over 50% of the American people already despise Obamacare? What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Mark, it's obviously not enough of a supermajority to put pressure on 5.
Sure, there are. It's just that the left. Excuse me, my turn. It's just that the left doesn't give a damn about what the American people think. And the problem is, if you don't put enough pressure on 2 or 3 or 4 of these Democrat senators, several of whom are up for re-election, and you guys, the conservatives aren't divided. We have a ruling elite in Washington who is going to allow Obamacare to be put in place. You want to know how I know this, Senator? Because you haven't given me a strategy.
Hey, Mark, well, right now the strategy is putting pressure not on Democrats, on Republicans. And obviously, calling people like me, part of the Surrender Caucus. Which,
I didn't call you a Surrender Caucus.
Which Mark, again.
Although you're starting to sound like it, I must say, you haven't given me a strategy yet.
I think if we didn't agree, if we actually voted for a bill to proceed to final pass to defund Obamacare, now we're somehow less pure. There's something wrong with us. So
not a question of pure. This isn't a purity. Did you not campaign, sir? Did you not say in 2013 that Obamacare is the greatest assault on our freedom in our lifetime? Did you not say in 2010 that you're running to repeal Obamacare?
It is, and I am.
So, and what have you done?
I have been working every day as I possibly can in terms of trying to develop a consensus strategy that unifies us to get this done, as opposed to just drop one in and trying to impose it, and then dividing us. So we should really be talking more about the harm of Obamacare as opposed to pointing fingers and going, oh, that's not going to work. He's not conservative enough. The reason we haven't defunded this is because we've got people not being conservative.
Sir, I've got reports here.
That's not going to be helpful.
I've got reports here. You talk about we need to unify. I've got reports here. You said, I asked you about Ted Cruz. You said you don't talk about him in public.
I don't.
Well, do you talk about him in private?
We have in Senate lunches and meetings, we have spirited debate. We have pointed questions. Yes, we do that in the confidence of a caucus meeting. Yes, absolutely.
Do you ever have outside guests? Do you ever have? Hold on now. Do you ever have outside guests at these caucus meetings? Somebody like me?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you invite me?
I'd be happy to invite you.
And why don't you make sure some of your colleagues attend?
Well, I think they probably would. We're all pretty big fans, Mark.
I'm not enough.
I'm a big fan of yours. Okay, I've read your books. And I certainly wasn't expecting to come on here with an inquisition, but
it's not an inquisition.
I'm happy to answer questions, and I'm happy to continue to fight to repeal Obamacare. Mark, we are all united in wanting to repeal Obamacare.
Will you do me a favor?
That's the real shame of this strategy. The result of the strategy, it has divided us. It's been destructive when we are
now,
all
you know
united.
What this strategy has done?
United in wanting to repeal Obamacare.
All right, listen to me. You know what this strategy has done? If you really step back and look at it and put your animosity aside for a minute. I have
no animosity.
Well, I don't know, but I'll leave that to others.
I have passion to repeal Obamacare.
All right. If you step back,
to make sure we don't bankrupt this nation.
Senator, well, that's interesting, because if you step back and look at it, from that filibuster, it seems to me that a lot of folks in the Senate and the House who are ready to cave quickly on the continuing resolution, let's look at the real history here, have now stood up and are fighting. And notice the 17% of the government shutdown that Obama has shut down, that Reid shut down, they're turning the people against them. And notice the debt ceiling's coming, and again the hysteria's coming. And whatever strength we have, I think, came out of that vote and that battle early on, Senator.
And Mark, I've said repeatedly, I appreciate any effort that's highlighting the harmful effects of Obamacare. I've been highly supportive of that. I've been highly supportive of the House sending over the smaller continuing resolution bills and stuff to put pressure on Harry. That's how you do it, in a unified fashion. We are unified behind that strategy. Again, I continue to ask, as I've asked, I think legitimately, in private, how do you actually defund Obamacare? How does that strategy work out? I haven't seen that yet, but I have seen the pressure being placed appropriately, trying to turn the tables on President Obama, Harry Reid, showing them as the ones that are playing politics with the shutdown.
All right, Senator.
I'm fully supportive of that.
Senator, I've answered it. You can't change a Senate in one debate in 1 week. It is a process, and that's what they were trying to. Hold on now. That's what they were trying to do right there and then. And if you don't use these certain points, continuing resolution, debt ceiling, you have zero leverage. Do you know how I know this? Because despite my half a dozen comments or requests, you haven't given me a single strategy other than you're trying to unite.
No, Mark, you're not going to agree unless I say the strategy was to defund. The strategy the strategy I'd laid out would be a multiple vote strategy to start turning. But Mark, I don't want to lay out the strategy to have Democrats hear it either.
All right, okay, that's fair enough.
But this overall strategy, though, Mark, is about continuing to highlight the harm Obamacare is going to do to our health care system, how it's going to decrease the quality, how it's going to lead to rationing, how it's going to stop innovation. That's the real strategy. It's about informing, persuading, and winning the argument. That's what we need to do. And the term you just used, leverage, I repeat that all the time in our conference. We have got to create leverage so we can actually get the proper result.
All right, I want to end on a nice note.
Right now,
I got to go.
Okay.
I want to end on a positive. So you're not out there trashing other senators, other conservatives, and something like that, correct?
No. Have you ever heard me publicly say?
I read this interview here that says that you're. I mean, we all know who you mean when you're. Who was this talk show host you were talking to?
No, what I was saying is the people that have supported defunding, I don't agree with the strategy. I've been up front and I've told people why I didn't agree with the strategy.
Can you do me a favor, Senator?
I agree with that, but I do not trash anybody. I always say I appreciate the efforts to highlight the harm.
Can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you talk to your friend Kelly Ayotte and ask her to come on the program, please, because she's ducking me.
Okay, well.
Next time you have your lunch.
I'd be happy to recommend it because it is a pretty fun experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it.
I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to talk about this because I was kind of upset about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Mark, we're all passionate about this. We are losing this country. Mark, I ran because I realized America is something incredibly precious. In the span of human history, this experiment is something precious, and we are losing it. We are blowing it, and I'm just tired of losing. My first strategy is stop losing. That's the first thing I would say is stop losing. Let's start winning on some things. So I don't want to support strategies that and we can disagree. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to support a strategy that is destined to fail. I don't want to overpromise to people to support us only to dash their hopes and realize, oh, geez, I guess a key part of the strategy is we actually had to have 5 Democrats sign or vote for the bill, and then President Obama signed it.
Senator.
More nuanced than
that.
You're
going back around the circle here. So let me just say this.
I know we kind of came back to where it started, but the bottom line is, Mark, I'm a U.S. senator not because I wanted to be a senator. This job ain't that great. I loved my life in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I did it because this country is going down the tubes. I ran for the United States Senate to try and save this country. And I'm passionate about it. And so,
well, I'm just telling you what I'm reading here.
Okay.
It would be better if you weren't trashing some of the senators. And I'm reading here from this interview. And Senator, I know who you meant when you spoke to this talk show guy. All right, I'm not an idiot. And what I'm saying is,
what did I say?
What did you say? You said intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, I think the defund effort.
Hold on. Claiming that in order to have made the defund strategy, we needed 5 Senate Democrats to join us. He'd previously referred to the defund strategy as a circular firing squad. But so you're telling me
what's happened here today?
You're telling me on the air.
Circular firing squad going on, don't you think?
Well, I'm glad the Republicans are finally standing up and fighting, aren't you? What are you supposed to do? Lie down and take it?
I love the fight. I don't like the circular firing squad. I'd rather have us aiming.
Well, then put your rifle down.
I'd rather have us aim our focus at the people that actually want to have Obamacare. I want us to aim.
Let me tell you something, Senator, because I have to go. Senator, let me tell you something. If 46 of you people, you Republican senators, had stood up shoulder to shoulder during that filibuster and made it quite damn clear to Harry Reid and the whole world that you were shoulder to shoulder, Republican to Republican, the outcome might have been slightly different. Don't you think?
Mark, we're in the same spot we are. Regardless, we're shut down here, and I'm still wondering. So how does Obamacare get defunded?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to follow.
I'm not quite sure how this thing gets defunded yet. I hope it works because I want to see Obamacare defunded like every other Republican.
I guess we'll have to follow the Ron Johnson strategy. When you figure it out, send it to me, will you?
When you figure it out, send it to me.
All right, Senator.
Bye.
Take care. Woo! I don't know if he'll be back, Mr. Producer. I think I was being polite, wasn't I? Yeah. Tried my best. Folks, here's the thing. When the first pitch is thrown in a baseball game, when the first call is made in a football game, when the puck at the center ice, when you have your first drop of the puck, or in military terms, the first battle, you don't keep saying, what's the end game? The end game is victory, of course. But the point is, you're trying to persuade others, and you can persuade others. It takes a little time, but you can't do it when your own guys are shooting you in the back.